welcome to episode 1 of the Connected podcast with John Rios. Really excited to get started with this podcast. My very first guest, Mike, is actually the epitome of what I'm trying to do with this podcast, which is letting people know the power of networking, the power of relationships. Mike and I have a pretty unique story as to how he and I were actually connected with one another and the way that we've been able to actually continue to grow our business relationship and personal relationship through networking. So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you're into these days.
Yeah, well, first of all, bro, he gave me the crazy good intro. So I'm number one. So anybody after me, just understand you got a lot to live up to.
For sure.
All jokes aside, I'm a talent manager, specializing in the influencer space. We do have clients in the acting space. We have clients in the music space, but I am the partner and CEO of a company called This Group. This stands for Trust, Honesty, Integrity, and Success. And what we're trying to do is really bring back good business into this environment and society that we got going on. So that's the short version of it. Also partner of HF Entertainment.
So Mike is selling himself a little bit short. Tell us a little bit about some of the people that you actually manage, some of the influencers, and actually some of the numbers of the followers that they have.
Okay, so started with Chicle, who ended up with Melanie. So Chicle is about 4 point, listen to me, about 4 point. He's at 4.1 on Instagram, 4.1 million on Instagram. Melanie is at 2.7 on Instagram. They have collectively about 300-something thousand on YouTube. TikTok, I think they're at 1 million and 2 million apiece. We also have Mr. Commodore, who's about 700,000 on Instagram. Ken Stars, 500. We have Jufu, who's 3.1 million on TikTok. We have a lot of people. Those are just a few. We also work with Trav Q. Just a lot of the New York guys. And we're heavy on the diversity issue too. We like, trying to push the whole black and brown aspect of it. But we work with anybody. Our thing it's not about the numbers. It's really about the person. We represent a whole bunch of people. That list is ridiculous. But when it comes to management, it's really about the person, and we really try to connect with the soul and make sure that they're good people that we're going to manage, because management is a lot different than representation.
Yeah, so he was definitely being modest in his catalog of
I
clients
forgot.
that he manages.
Sorry, and Trey the Truth. It's my guy, Trey out of Houston. Trey the Truth, sorry.
He forgot one of his biggest clients, you see that? So, Mike, one of the things that really frustrates me right now with what's going on and what's trending is we hear a lot of the time the self-made. Everybody wants to be self-made. Everybody wants to tell a story about how they got it out the mud and they did it on their own. And I'm not a big fan of that. I actually believe the exact opposite. In my business, I could pretty much pinpoint almost every single deal. Who was the person that connected me, whether it was a coworker, whether it was a family member, whether it was a past client. I'm sure that one way or another, that person got to me through some sort of network. And that's always been my staple for business, connecting with people. How can I provide value to you so that in turn we can grow together? So how has networking changed your business perspective and your approach?
Networking is everything, especially in our business. It's a social media network. The thing is that prior to social media, that's the only way that you could do. Like everybody's following everybody, but before you had to actually physically see the person, shake hands, you know what I mean? You could do the phone, but I've realized, and even now, even though it's easy to text people and do all that type of stuff, I prefer to meet people. And I agree with you, no one is ever self-made. I think everything is team aspect. We were just having a conversation off camera, and it was like, I take every single phone call. For the most part, I take every call. I'll set up every meeting and I would say, I turn over every rock, because you just never know. Something that I may think is not going to turn into something, I've taken that meeting, taken that phone call, and what I thought I was going into, it ends up something completely far right that ends up being amazing. Sure. And if I wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't have done that if I didn't take that phone call. So, I think I'm big on this whole we society. Like, I think we live in a me society, and that's why you have that self-made, and it's about me. And it's never just about you. You know, yes, you have to be the best you, but you have to have a we. You have to have a team, and that's the way that you do things. Like you said, our unique. We got introduced by my mom, which is crazy.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And I learned that. I've been around business my whole life. My grandma had a bar. My grandmother had a bar for 40 years in the Bronx. And I was, as a kid, I mean, probably not great to say that now, but as a kid, I was in the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sit there and you see, you know, what's going on. But my mom had her business. Like, there's just so much. And when you grow up in that, you know business etiquette. And that's why I think, as far as for me, like, I'm super confident in what I do. I'm not cocky. You know me. I'm very confident in what I do. I've built, you know, I'm 47. I wish this could have happened at 25, but that wasn't my story. I had to build, and I had these experience, and I'm seasoned. Like, that's why, like, I can be in any room. I don't care who it is, and I'm not even just talking top. It could be the bottom of the bottom. It doesn't matter. I'm comfortable anywhere because I'm comfortable with who I am. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And I can network with anybody. I can go into the projects, sit there and have a conversation you don't know, and I can sit there and go to Madison Avenue and be in the penthouse and
in the corporate office.
Exactly. Shake your hand the correct way. You know what I mean? Speak grammatically correct, and sit there and it don't matter. But, you know, that's the long answer. But networking is huge, and I think people don't know. This younger generation doesn't really know how.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there are a lot of stigmas that are going on for the younger generation as it relates to business that don't really coincide with success. They don't really match up with what the actual formula is. And not that there's a specific formula for success, but I think that a lot of these things are just not in alignment. So that's actually the perfect segue for what I wanted to ask you. In your space, because I see it with my son, and my son being a music producer and me getting a very small sample size of what the music industry is like. So for you being on the management side for creatives and content creators and artists, what do you see in terms of this climate that we're in right now where everybody wants to be independent, everybody's like, you know, F the labels, I'm not trying to be with the label, I don't want a manager. What do you see as far as the battle between independent versus let me get a manager, let me get behind a label, let me get with some structure? What do you see?
That's a great question, and shout out Cam on the track, of course.
For sure.
No, it's funny because the way that we handle things is always everybody's individual, right? We just had a conversation with somebody from LA, right? And this is a girl singer. She wants to go independent. Everybody wants to go independent because you hear control, you know, you make more money independent. Yeah, I get that. But if you don't have the money or the financial backing to do that, you know, it's difficult. Like, every situation is different. If you have money and you can, and it's not just the money. You gotta have the money and you have the connections. You can sit there and blow through $350,000 and ain't nothing happen. You know what I mean? Or you can have, you know, 100,000, have the right situations, and then that could work. So, you know, I believe it depends on the situation. I think it's okay to go to labels. I think nowadays, if you build your brand, I always say build the brand first, then the business. If you build your brand enough, you'll have leverage going in somewhere. And then you can sit there, and another thing that I say is always easier to negotiate from within the building. So maybe this first deal, listen, everybody is not Hove. Hove was not Hove at the beginning. So you walk in, like, the deal, maybe your percentage in the beginning, and I'm just using this as an example, maybe your percentage is, hey, from this deal, maybe you are gonna do a joint venture, or maybe you're just an artist and you're getting, I'm just saying 30%. Okay, now you're in there, make sure that the deal is for a certain amount of time, 2 years, 3 years, a certain amount of projects. Then after that, make sure that you can renegotiate. And then you sit there and it's like, okay, now you've shown and proved, right? Because I do that a lot. With like influencers, it's performance equity. I'm big on that. Like, if you want us to come sit here and come a little bit lower than normal, I want equity or skin in the game. If it's something we believe in, I'll take less, but I'm asking for equity on performance based. So if I hit certain things, then you get it. Not, hey, just give it to me, because that's what a lot of influencers, a lot of people just want without doing anything. And it's like, understand this side. And as a manager, like, we handle business just like you. It's like, when we're on two sides of the table, I tell everybody, listen, understand that we care about your side. It's not only about us, because then we're out of business, because then we're sitting here just thinking about this, us, and it kills networking, it kills relationships, because for us, that's our currency, is relationships.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, but artists need to be structured. You can see, I from the outside area, I can see artists, influencers, like they have no structure, they have no management, you can tell. Not saying that I'm coming and say, hey, let us manage it, but you can kind of see. You know what I mean? Like with us, we're cultivating people. Some, they have 10,000 followers, and we're cultivating and building them. Just had a conversation with a micro the other day, and it was like, hey, what do I do about, how can I get sponsorship posts? You know, you're not going to get what Chicle gets. Chicle has 4 million. We've been working with Chicle for a while.
Sure.
So you're not going to get the deals that he gets.
You built that up already. Yeah.
Right, so build it, and they're going to come. Not to sound corny, you know what I'm saying? If you build it, they will come. And I told her, I said, look at not what's in it for you, look at it what's in it for them. And once you make that shift, you got to become an asset. Not that you're just trying to take, you're an asset to that company. That's why they're going to give you, because nobody's giving you money for nothing. They got to figure out, they got to get a return. You know what I mean? That's a whole other conversation. But, you know.
And that's a great point. We've gotten to a point in business where, that has become a form of currency. That has become a significant amount of value. Well, how many followers do you have? How many people have you worked with that have a significant following? So it becomes a really big part of how deals actually happen. So my question to you would be, for an artist or creative or anyone in that space that's just coming up, that is trying to figure out, okay, I don't necessarily have the biggest budget right now to do this independently. What would be your advice in terms of how to, I guess, capitalize on the free stuff, the social media and things like that? Or do you feel like it's something that they should automatically jump into management? Because when I talk to brand new realtors that are coming into the business, they say, well, what do you think is the first thing I should do? And my very first thing is, you should hire a coach. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you need a coach. You need a coach from day one.
Right.
And in our business, a coach is the same exact thing as what you are essentially as a manager. Yeah. So is that the same advice you would give to someone coming into the business that wants to get into this space? Or would you kind of like, what would be your take on that?
Ideally, in this space, see, with that, it's a little bit different because you have something to coach. Sometimes you don't have anything to manage, just as of yet. You know what I'm saying? And people want managers, and the reason why they want managers is because of the look.
Got it.
We're living in a perception society, you know what I mean? I reach out to my manager, you know what I'm saying? That looks, but it's definitely a good look. But if you don't have anything to manage, it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, and the real managers they work off a percentage off of what you get. Not, you don't pay me, a monthly retainer. Yeah. That's consulting. If a manager is asking you for bread, they're not a manager. Just letting you know. But the thing is that in the beginning, if you have, and I'll go even influencer music, anybody like you said in this space, I would learn each platform. Let's say that not so much Facebook. I mean, it is what it is. But let's just use TikTok and Instagram. TikTok is very heavy with the music aspect right now. Learn how to use it, see what works. I always say the beginning is incredible because you can try. If you have 10 followers, okay, just try. It's not like if you do something and it goes left and it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? It's 10 followers. I can't do that. Chicle got 4 million, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta be careful, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But don't underestimate a boost post on Instagram. Put $10 in it, $20 in it, that type of stuff. Like, it helps. It really does help. Just learn these programs and just, again, not to sound corny, the consistency. Like, seriously, like I saw a video, I forgot what page it is. I think it's like either Billionaire Hustle or Wealth. Like, they be having dope, videos or whatever. And the guy was talking about going to the gym, right? And he said, listen, if I go to the gym tomorrow for 9 hours, I look in the mirror, ain't nothing gonna change. Even if I go for 20 minutes, I look in the mirror, nothing gonna change. But if I go to the gym for 20 minutes, over the course of time, I'm gonna look in the mirror, there's gonna be a change. And that's that consistency and again, we just live too much in I want it now. I decide to be an influencer, I decide to be a music artist, I need a manager. And I get it. If you have somebody that you can trust, yes, do that. If you have somebody that you can groom, that'll come up with you. And make sure in the influencer or music space, just please make sure that if you do get somebody like that's close to you as a manager or that's going to play that role, please make sure that that's all they want to do for right now. Please, I've seen it too many times that the videographer or the manager, the team, they see what the person gets, the talent gets, and they're like, oh, I want to do that too. Let me get in your videos. Yo, put me on the song. My man, play your role. And later on you could do that, but just play your role because you got to come up together and then you sit there and filter out, because I didn't do anything else until Chicle and Melanie got to a point, and we still got stuff to go. But the thing is that I couldn't do anything else until they were there for me to do, whether it was videos or anything, or even stuff like this. Like, I didn't want to do anything because I needed them to be right.
Right,
and this is why I partnered, and now we're able to, have a little bit more of a bandwidth. But listen, at the beginning, you got to just play your role, and it's different because I'm older. But think about it. You see somebody pick up their phone, shoot, get mad views, getting free clothes, free whatever, free dinner, free whatever. Oh, I want that. I don't want to be just the guy on the side. It's an art form. We hold the light. You know what I'm saying? I want to hold the light on people.
For sure.
And some people don't. They just want to be in front of the camera too much.
For sure, man. So one of the things that I heard, I picked up on that you said there was, you're obviously in a space where the type of work you do, there's a huge vanity matrix, right? And I talk about that a lot within real estate. I get messages all the time about, how do I get into real estate? I want to do that. And a lot of it is vanity, right? A lot of it is they see $1 million listing and they're like, oh, I want to do that, because on TV they close $1 million deals in 30 seconds and they walk away with these 6-figure checks. So it looks so appealing, but people don't know that this is years and years of work behind the scenes. So one of the things that I found with when I'm doing a lot of public speaking lately is being completely vulnerable and telling people like, all right, this is what you see on the outside. Like, yeah, we did 30 million this year in sales volume, but this is what happened. And my biggest vulnerable moment was this year. I got in front of a stage and let everybody know that this was my biggest year to date, and everybody's all clapping and cheering or whatever. I went broke.
Yeah.
I went broke this year. I had some issues that were out of my control in terms of things with the IRS that I had no idea of because I never learned them. And I had a lot of issues that came up that, drastically changed my life in the same year that everybody thought and is applauding me for the greatest year ever. So for you, what would you say was like a very profound, vulnerable moment in this industry that people don't usually see on camera and on social media that happened that you can that humbled you to an extent?
I know without a doubt what it is. So prior to getting back into this space, I used to manage the music, and I was on a reality show. This was I think 2013 or whatever, and we thought everybody was like, oh, it's we leveling up, it's going to the next, whatever. And then for whatever the reason is, it didn't get picked up. A lot of politics on the network side didn't get picked up. And it was almost like a rug pulled for me, right? So, that kind of fizzled out. And then I started again. I said, I'm going to start with a new artist, whatever, young dude, whatever. Now, mind you, I was probably, I think, 40 at the time, around there. Give or take a couple of years, I forget. Got with him. And I started, back in the grade, but it was like it was almost at ground zero. You know what I'm saying? And ended up getting him. I worked with a partner, and because of my relationships, we were able to get a deal for him. And they were like, Mike, because we want to work with you, we're gonna do this deal. He was super talented. I left that meeting. This shit's crazy. I left that meeting. Literally went to go grab something to eat. I started crying, like literally tearing. And I told my partner, I was like, yo, I can't do this. And he's like, yo, like what you're saying about you're supposed to be on such high, yo, we got a deal. Like we're about to go and do stuff. And I was like, I don't feel like there's something, and like literally, and John, I ain't bullshit. Like I like tears, and this dude was like, you know, like man, nigga, like you know what I'm saying. Like I don't care. Like I express, and I really went into, I want to say like a mild depression. I didn't want to speak to and you know how close I am with my mother. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I was just kind of in my shell, because I felt like, damn, I was on my way. I got the rug pulled and I fell on my face, and I'm like, damn, I'm 40 years old and I don't want to be in the studio. I don't want to go through it. I did that already. I've had my successes, ups, downs, whatever. And I was like, damn, is this it? Like, I can't believe it. And then I was getting people, oh, but you know, not a lot of people could say that you were on a TV show. Yeah, that's cool. I hear you. But honestly, like, I'm not an average person. Like, that's not what it is. So I'm not cool with at least you did insert. I don't want at least you did. Like, I'm sitting here, like I said, for my grandkids, like that I don't have. Like, I'm building legacy. Like, that was my plan, and it just I was on my face. And then, you know, as Chicle likes to say, he got me back in my bag. He's my nephew through marriage. We went to a meeting. I hadn't done anything for 3 years. Came back, and now, like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'll always thank him because he got me back in my bag, seriously. But that was a real tough time, bro. That was a really tough time. For me not to want to speak to my parents, who I'm super close with, I only want to speak to one dude, which was my man Reggie. Like, that was the only person that I could really speak to. Bro, that was a humbling experience, bro. Like, a humbling experience. And looking back at it, it's like that's when my life changed. And it's like, damn. You know, I'm super happy where I'm at right now, you know, but yeah, that was the...
But I think that those moments are so vital, right? They're so necessary, because if we don't have those moments where we hit quote unquote rock bottom, what we think is rock bottom at that time, you know, it keeps you hungry, it keeps you, you know, like I was dead broke, and I had my 3 weeks of crying about it in the house, and I'm crying on my pillow.
No, I get it, bro. I get it.
And then one day I woke up and I was like, I gotta get to work. I gotta get back to work. Like, I can't stop what's happening right now, but I gotta get to work. Only thing that I can control is work. I gotta go out and keep working. So, you know, that for me was, it was like you said Chicle got you back in your bag. For me, this was a moment that it was like, okay, now I gotta get my ass back to work, because I know what I'm capable of. I know what I could do, and this ain't it. So it's definitely a very necessary part of the journey. But another thing you mentioned was Chicle was your nephew through marriage, and you know, one of the things that I see from myself and with other people in my industry and just entrepreneurs period is having that balance, right? You're a dad, you're a baseball coach, whether by default or not. You're a baseball coach, your husband, you're businessman, you're entrepreneur. How do you find the balance between all of those different hats that you're having to wear and still show up as the best Mike in all of those different jobs?
Right. Well, it's tough. It's easier now because I think it's hard to have a balance when you're grinding and going after something. So, you know, you always talk about balance, but if you're going to be great, you can't have balance because you're going to have to put something here, and there's going to be some sort of sacrifice. You know, like when I was doing my 9 to 5, I would come home and then leave, you know what I'm saying? And doing all that, no money coming, wife definitely wasn't happy, you know what I'm saying? I'm just out the house, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, now it's to a point where, you know, I as much as possible, I try to kind of schedule and kind of block my day, because I'm active in all of that. I'm not just a husband that's bringing home bread and just be like, yo, where's my dinner? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, whatever. Like, I like to go out with my wife. I like to, you know, spoil my wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I can. My kids is like, you know, my everything. You know what I mean? Like, just had one son, you know, he's set for college, right? I start all over with the 11-year-old, you know what I mean? But that takes experience. That really does. It's hard to do that, right? But I think at some point in your life, like I said, something is going to have a sacrifice, right? Like, that's why they say artists don't have any kids. You know what I mean? Because you need to fully focus on this. And like for me, what I try to do now is I try to keep my Sunday as sacred as possible. Like I try not to, like me and Chick, we don't speak on Sunday. If we speak on Sunday, it's like, it's Sunday, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we've kind of built where it's like, okay, that's kind of like, I want to keep for my family, right? Like, so, because it was Monday to Friday, I had my weekends, but then as the business started to build, sometimes I got to take calls and do stuff on Saturday. So I really try to keep Sunday. But throughout the week, like, you know, I go to the gym, I take my son to school. I want to be the one to pick him up. Like, I just want to be there as much as possible, and sometimes I can't. But when I can, you know, I want to, because I don't want with my kids, I don't want my kids to ever, you know, Mikey, I mean, obviously he's older. I never want my youngest Maddox to sit there and be like, oh, Dad was too tired. Dad was always tired. We couldn't go to the park. Yesterday, he wanted to go to the park. I was exhausted, bro. I'm going to do it. Let me just go hit him some ground ball. And then I get into it because I'm like, I love this, you know?
Yeah.
My wife, same thing. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm too tired to go out. You know, I'm not saying we go out every night, you know, but hey, let's go, babe, let's go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, to kind of keep that there, because it can be very mundane, right? Like if you're sitting there, it's about money, it's like, yeah, you know, we live in this world and you hear money over everything, money over everything, money over everything. It's not, it's not. You know, for me, it's family over everything. You know what I mean? It's passion over everything. It's not that all that money stuff comes, and I don't want to lose my time with my children or my wife because I was chasing a dollar. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like I said, I ain't chasing no bags. I'm picking up my luggage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think that, you know, what's most important, like what resonated with that when you said that to me, is that like a lot of entrepreneurs come into whatever industry it is that they're going to get into, and they're not clear on their why, right? They're not clear on their vision. That, you know, I tell people all the time, like, and I was telling people this before I even became like serious about real estate. I said, I will be retired by 45, and that was because I started late. Because had I started early, that number would have been a lot lower. But I said I will be retired by 45 because I saw what freedom the industry could bring.
Right.
I saw what all of those things brought, and you know, that freedom, people, you know, like people don't understand as entrepreneurs. You know, you go work a 9 to 5 and you interview for the job, and they say, hey Mike, you got the job, and on that paper they say, here's your offer sheet, and this is what your salary is, this is what your days off are, this is your vacation time. But when you're an entrepreneur, we forget how much value is in that freedom of being able to say, I'm taking today off. I'm gonna be with the kids. I'm gonna be with my family. And I had to put myself in check with that in the beginning, because, you know, I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make when I first got into real estate. And then one minute I was like, wait, but hold on. I have never missed one of my son's baseball games. I've never missed a practice. I've never missed anything for him or the family. There's value in that.
Absolutely.
And I think that a lot of the time, you know, entrepreneurs misplace that. They misplace the fact that they don't have to clock in somewhere and be sitting at a desk all day.
Right.
And I think that for you personally, when you're in the space where, you know, you're managing these people that have these big visions, how do you take these artists or these people, these clients that you work with, and say, okay, that's the grand vision, but let's bring you down to where you really are to make small steps into that progression, because we live in this microwave era, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants instant gratification. Everybody wants, you know, I'm making music today. Tomorrow I want to be Kanye. So how do you manage those type of expectations for people that are coming into your industry?
Well, the people that, like, in the beginning, it's always a conversation that we have, because we always say the person is more important than the business. So we got to make sure that the person is right before you can even flourish as a business. And the question we always ask is like exactly that, like, where do you want to go? What is your end goal? And sometimes it takes a while, because it's like, you know, they don't know their why. And there's also, they don't know their what. What are you doing? You know, so let alone letting know why you're doing it, but what are you doing? You know what I mean? Oh, I just want to be an influencer. Okay, what does that mean? You know, so we try to dig deep. So, oh, I just want to, you know, I want to make a lot of money. I want to, Let's go. I want to direct and produce. Okay, cool. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, now let's bring it back. What are you doing now? And what are you doing to get to that point, right? So here, this is what it is. I used that micro before that I was talking to you about. Oh, I want to do this thing on YouTube. I want to do this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, do you have like a strategy behind that? Because creatives, they get, like you said, they do a song and it's like, I'm sure like you would know with Cam, right? He has a song that's he probably did it 2 years ago. Dumb old to him. Somebody hears it, be like, damn, that's fire. But it's old to him now. That's just why. But you got to understand that the world didn't see that, and creators want to, okay, put it out. I've had this for so long. I've had this song for so long. Let me just relax. Let's have a strategy, because even though we're living in an instant gratification, and I always say 140 character world, there's still strategies and there's still marketing. Marketing may not be the 6-month plan that you may need. You can kind of condense it to 3, and then you can even do 2-week plans, but there's still marketing. There's still strategy in order to do what you got to do. So you really got to talk, because, when you're looking into now, and again, it comes with experience. Another example, Millennium got a very good offer for, something to shoot content. It was a year deal. Nice offer. And then any manager other than me is like, yo, I'm going to convince them to do it because I'm getting PC off of that. You be doing this. But how I am is like, well, look at what they're asking for and make sure that you can do that, because it sounds good now. When you look on a piece of paper, I got to do this and I'm going to get that. They usually look at what they're getting, right? It's like, I'm going to get that. And it's for a year. So I'll always say, think about 3 months from now, right? I hear what you're saying right now because this money looks good, but 3 months from now, you're still going to be into it.
Do that. Yeah.
Because what happens is when you sign this is a contract. And what I don't want is for you to say yes. 3 months down, the brand gets upset, in turn kills your reputation, our reputation. For what? Because we saw the money, and that's where we were leading with. Now, if it's something that you enjoy and love to do, hey, I would do this for free. But, and I'm not saying it's that simple, but you really got to look at that, because, and I think my stepfather had taught me this too. He says, like, as far as when you're older, you have comparisons. A kid, you don't have a comparison. When you're 18, first thing that happened, let me just go. But as a 47-year-old man, I have comparisons because I went and it didn't happen, and I can sit there and use my experience to try to help you, because people know me when they feel my energy and understand when I'm talking to them, whether I manage you or not. And I think, John, you know this about me already. I'm here to help you. Whatever my situation, if I'm with you for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we have a half-hour conversation, I work with your career or not. If I have a conversation with you, I'm trying to give you whatever experience that I can help you with. So if I'm gonna do that for anybody, the people, my clients, I treat them like family. Chicle obviously is my only family, but it's like, as far as in my clients, but all my clients I figure is like family. Like that's how I treat them, and not corny wise. What I mean? Yo, we all family. And dudes be saying that, and it's like, yo, they be trying to go around and trying to figure things out, and all they care about is their pocket. What I mean? I care about the person. So.
Yeah, I mean, I see that all the time, right? I get all the new realtors that I end up working with or that I'm mentoring, and they want to lead every conversation asking for business. Like, John, I called everybody I know and I said, who do you know that wants to buy or sell a house? And I'm like, listen, you gotta stop. Like, come from contribution first. Yeah. You calling them and saying, hey, how can I help you? Because they know you sell real estate, and if they don't, that's the first problem. Right. But if they know that you sell real estate, the conversation is about how can I help you? Like for me personally, my entire business model is built around relationships and networking. So perfect example, I recently just got a brand new handyman. Great dude, does great work. Worked on a couple projects for us. So I got some pictures of his work. And my day of business generating is contacting clients and saying, hey, listen, I just got this brand new handyman. He's awesome. If you ever need a handyman, let me know. I'll send you some of his work, check it out. I'm not asking for business, but I'm staying top of mind. I'm having that conversation with them. So I think that, we have this obligation as and the older generation to show this generation what the actual business generating model is, because everything is so antiquated. It's like they want to just be on social media and send a person a DM and like, oh, I tried, you know. And I know that for you, you know, as a manager, you know, you got to go out there and make those deals happen. You got to be the front runner for all of those things. So what would you say for a brand new artist, producer, creator, whatever they may be, is as a management client, they're coming on board with you, they're saying, you know what, Mike, I want you to manage me. Where would you say they need to start as their first step? Like, all right, I'll manage you if, or you have to do A, B, what would be those first steps?
Well, the process, and again, we work differently. The first for us, it's a conversation with the person, because we want to see if you're a good person. I could care less about what type of money I think you could bring. I really don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? An example was a guy that wanted to meet me. Somebody had connected me, whatever. And he was excited. Yo, blah, 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 I got all this fun. What's your real name? Asked his real name. We were on the phone for like 45 minutes. And he said, Mike, yo, let me tell you something. He's like, yo, I've been doing this for 6 years. I never had anybody ask me about myself. I said, because we're in a business transactional world. So the first conversation is, okay, you know, again, I don't care if you have 10,000, whatever. If I think you're a good person, you know, and my team is great like that. I'll be like, yo, I got somebody that I think is great. I want you guys to meet, and they you know, we all trust each other. But we have the conversation, and then we start to have that, where do you want to go? And then we try to build you. And then we'll ask questions like, do you have health insurance? Are you at that level? You know what I'm saying? Because we want to build you, because what we're starting to see, and I'm going to, you know, really say this, what's happening, and I'm going to go straight for the influencer space. This influencer space is being exactly like how the hip hop industry was. When hip hop first started, brands and people saw that there was money involved, and they were taking advantage of all of these hip hop artists. And that's why you got these guys that are so upset about what happened before. And I see the same thing happening with influencers. These brands are lowballing them. These influencers do not know their worth. So we sit there and we help you understand what your worth is, because if somebody wants, listen, if you haven't done anything, you pick up your phone, you do this, and it's like somebody wants to give you $200. Hey, great.
Yeah.
When you don't realize that you should have got at least 1,000 or whatever it is, just understanding what it is. You know, we want to make this a career. So that's why we say this, like an entrepreneur, you don't get health insurance. It's like a job. So how do we help you get to the point where you have that, where you're established? Chicle, same thing here. He's at a point, life insurance, retirement policy, those things, so that you're okay. Not just thinking about today. You know, like I say, you know, we're very, very different. We're not your normal management company, marketing, you know, because we've turned into like a marketing agency, because we, you know, working with brands and just all of our influencers. We're just very, very different. And we have conversations, and sometimes they're long, but we got to understand what it is. If we're working with you, this is your career. We're not sitting there, we're not going off of the percentage.
Yeah.
Yo, what can we do? Let's get as many people, because if no. That's not. Listen, money comes. Money comes, sure. And we've done well. We still got obviously levels to go, but like you said, relationship is that's everything for us. I've had guys move from agency to an agency. Mike, this is my first day at a new agency. I had to call you. This is who we got. What's up? Because they want to work with me, right? Because of how I handle business. Because they're used to dealing with 22-year-olds that aren't on time, could care less. I'm not saying that they're all like that, but when I find a young person that's dope, I'll be like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pull them in.
Yeah. So it's really hard to say steps. You know what I mean? Because everybody comes and a lot of people. Oh, how do I get like Chicle? I want 4 million followers. Yo, my man. You know, like, what is your niche? What are you doing? What do you know? Maybe what you do only calls for. Maybe you only get 100,000, but let's work with that, and let's nurture a career with that. You don't, like, it's not about numbers, and this is another thing. Every creator is not an influencer. Just because you got followers doesn't mean you influence anybody. You could buy them, you know what I'm saying? And look, if I tell you guys, go look on certain people's pages, people that you think, like, let's say sports or anything, somebody that you think is out there, they're verified, they're famous, a lot of followers. Look at their engagement. I've seen a sports guy that was charging a lot for something, right? Maybe 7 million followers, and you see 83 comments,
It doesn't add up. The numbers don't add up.
Right, and that may not be that you're buying them because you're known. The thing is that you're not engaging.
Yeah.
Like you post a picture, okay, cool. Influencers can influence, right, and in different ways. So we really know and we dissect that, you know, where somebody will come to us and be like, hey, we want this person, you know, would have all these followers, and I'm like, the person over here that has less followers is probably gonna be better for you. If this is what you're trying to get. No, but I want those. All right. Because clout is also a currency that I'm not, I could care less about that. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, as far as a 47-year-old guy, the things that I always tell people always sound super corny. You know what I'm saying? It's that consistency and, you know, but a lot of people in this world don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. They want quick. And the bad thing is that the entry level is just buying a phone.
Yeah.
How hard is that? You get a phone and you can start.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through the league. You don't have to train baseball bat, like all that stuff. That takes time to get there. To be an influencer, 84% of kids want to be influencers. You know why? Because of that.
Yeah.
All their relationships are in here. All their relationships are here. There's none of this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I saw that dude. I saw him right here on the screen. They don't know. With Chicle, they don't know what the hell he been through. Yeah. They don't know where he started and how it was. And I'm not expecting people to, but they just see this. Mm-hmm. Not everybody knows him. Where this guy came from? Oh, who's this? You know how many people I've bumped into or sit there and I'll mention him in different, you know, genres, and they'll be like, nah, wow, what's he doing? Yeah, we've done a Super Bowl campaign with Hulu. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that it's not just cause, you know what I mean? Like we've done stuff, and it's like, but everybody can't be that. Yeah. Right? But it's okay, and but just figure that out. And you gotta have a good team. That's the thing. You gotta have good people, and they don't have to have titles. Get good people around you. Reach out to people. Be like, hey, can I pick your brain for a second? All of that. All of that is key because you don't know. If you're first coming into a space, like I tell my kids this, and I tell younger people this all the time. If you go to a job and it's your first day on the job, and you walk in with somebody, and you guys have, you know, just got hired, and there's a dude that you see, and he's been here for 15 years. Who are you gonna listen to? The dude you walked in with, or the dude that's been here 15 years? Probably that guy, because he's been in the job, he knows who's who, what's what. You're gonna listen to him. I've been on this earth 47 years, so I tell my kids I have a little bit more history on this earth. Things have changed, and I'm in the tech, you know, I'm in the now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not the corny old dad.
Old dusty dad.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I can learn from my 11-year-old. I learn things from him all the time. It don't matter. But the morals, the values don't change. To me, values have changed. That's a different topic. But I know I give you a long answer.
I appreciate it, brother.
I'm sorry.
Well, listen, I brought Mike on today because Mike and I's relationship is the epitome of networking. You know, like Mike had mentioned earlier, I actually met Mike through his mom. His mom and I were both in a networking group together, and she said, you know, I think you really would vibe well with my son. I think you should meet up with my son. And he and I connected, and I can't even think of anybody really, personally or business-wise, that I've had more business relationships with through each other. I mean, from video people to merch people to finance people, you know, we've had such a different array of people that have come through this relationship. So that's why I wanted to bring Mike on, because you know, one thing that my business coach said to me is, you're one business relationship away from changing your entire life. And I think about that every single day. Every single person that I connect with, every single person that I try to do business with or that I try to help, I'm always thinking that this could be that relationship, and that's how every entrepreneur should think. So I'm very happy to have you, Mike. Thank you so much, bro. You still doing consulting?
Yeah,
consulting and all that. So let them know where they can find you.
The easiest thing is just reach me at Myqsuccess on anything. Instagram, I'm usually on the most, but it's Mike spelled M as in Michael, Y, Q, and the word success, SUCCESS. Hit me there. I'm pretty open as far as for even just asking a question. I try to do my best. I get a bunch of DMs because of the clients. I try to push them to the business page. But you know, anything that anybody needs in the mornings, John will tell you, I do a video usually 1 or 2 minutes, Monday to Friday, just to kind of give some gems to anybody that needs it, business, personal. whatever you guys need, I give that out for free. I'm not doing it for anything but I'm from, it takes a village to raise people, so I'm just throwing that out there, whatever. And just remember that I'm the one. He said the one, I'm the one. So when this gets picked up, right, this episode is gonna be an NFT, and I better get one, just so you understand, because I didn't sign my rights, so just everybody understand. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciate
you.
Flee!